Hi, this is Bruce at Failure at Retirement. Welcome back. Today we're going to start to get into why I failed at retirement. So some folks have told me that I should do a video about my tractors. So today we're going to review most of the vintage tractors, what they are, why I have them, things like that. Hang on real quick. So here we go. This is some of them. I guess you could say maybe the more important ones to me. Let's start right here. This first one is a John Deere 430 utility, 1960, I think, if I remember right. Story on it, it's the very first tractor my dad ever bought, and it's the only tractor that my dad ever bought brand new. It's also the first tractor that I ever drove. So obviously this one I'm hanging on to long term. Pretty special place with me. Behind it is a John Deere 430 crawler, long track version. My dad acquired that from some friends of theirs 15 years ago or something. People had a little place in the foothills. He used it every year to make a fire break. These obviously both tractors I got from my dad. This one right here, John Deere 420 utility, 1958 only. This is the last tractor that my dad ever restored. He was around 78, 79 years old at the time. Not his best work, but to be fair, at that age, I'm nowhere near that old right now, and I'm not interested in restoring another one. It's just a lot of work, and overall came out okay. Again, for his age, wow. So interesting story. This 420, I don't know exactly when my dad got it. Probably 2014, 2015. I don't know where he got it from. This tractor right here, I acquired it, I believe, in 2012. Got it from a guy local to me. Still has a local dealership sticker on it from when it was new. I got to looking at the two tractors, thinking, wow, they're identical. Yeah, come to find out, they're 5 serial numbers apart. So most likely built on the same day, rode the same train to California. I don't know what dealership this one was sold through. Very well could have been same dealership. Anyway, these two brothers apart for 50 years or something along those lines. Well, let's see. They are 1958 models. I brought them together again in 2021. I'll let you do the math. I'm trying to talk. This tractor back here, John Deere 40 utility. I acquired it in about 2004 approximately. It was a beater. Amongst one of the roughest tractors that I've ever bought, and that's really honestly saying something. I did a complete restoration on this thing, about 2005 or so, and then used it, farmed with it heavily for 5 or 6 years after that. Really good running little tractor. Of course, I went through everything. It was honestly completely wore out and not worth doing when I got it. This next tractor right here, John Deere 520. I bought this tractor in 2000. It had been through a flood in 1997. Hadn't been run since. Engine was stuck. This is the tractor I currently have owned the longest. Farmed heavily with this dude. In fact, when I started farming on my own for real in 2008, it was these two tractors right here. Those were the only two tractors I owned at that time when I leased that ranch. And for the first 6 months or so, that's all I had until I bought a more modern tractor. This next tractor here, John Deere, the 520, that is, if memory serves, 1956, maybe 57, don't really remember for sure. This one here, John Deere 620, I acquired it at a local auction after I started farming probably about 2010. Good running tractor. I have done next to nothing to it since I bought it. Great tractor. Also farmed heavily with it back when I was working for real. So all three of these tractors right here farmed with a lot. Next one up here, John Deere 720. Oh, hold up. The 620, I believe, is a 1958. Definitely newer than the 520. It's there's a variation in that 20 series. 520 is the older variation, 620 is the newer one. Next up, John Deere 720 diesel, electric start. This tractor, I don't know when I bought this tractor, like probably around 2017, somewhere in there. It had sat for quite a long time. This tractor had raked a lot of hay, from what I was told, down south of me, 100 miles or so. And someone had brought it up closer to me and then didn't end up using it. I bought it. Needed quite a bit of work. Had to put a radiator in it, injector pumps. Did a lot of work. She's a solid runner now. I just have never farmed with it. It's just part of the collection at this point. Because if you haven't picked up on this by now, my jam, really, late 50s John Deere's with original paint. It's really kind of my personal fave. I like them to be kind of sweaty, wearing their original work clothes. Obviously, I got the one I restored. That was my thing for a long time, till I realized how much work it was, if I'm being honest. So now we'll kind of move to a different part of the shop here real quick. Got a couple more over here. So here, two more 420s, both 1958. This first one here is 1958 John Deere 420 standard. This I kind of think might have been the first 420 that my dad ever bought. He bought this around 1990, 91, somewhere right around in there. I don't remember honestly if he painted it or I did. Might have been a group effort back in those days. Anyway, this tractor had been in the family for a good long time, over 30 years. So this tractor next to it, John Deere 420W, the row crop model. This is a tractor that my dad found back about 2009, probably 2010, somewhere in there. He wasn't really that interested in it. I fell in love with it immediately. It's got all the things I like, a lot of options, original paint, super straight, super clean. Belonged to an asparagus farmer 30-40 miles from us. I just couldn't afford to buy it right then. My dad, like I said, wasn't interested. I had just started farming. Didn't make sense to me to own another vintage tractor at that time. So my dad waited a year or two, asked me a couple times if I was going to ever buy it. I told him I wanted it, but it wasn't a priority. Next thing I know, he brought it home and he used it on his ranch for a couple years before he eventually stopped farming. And then he left it to me. So I guess he knew I wanted it all along, and he bought it for me in a roundabout way. Anyway, so now you can see it takes a fair amount to maintain all this. I have a couple more. They're in a different building. Maybe sometime if you put in the comments you really want to see the others, maybe we'll do a separate video on it another time. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll try to answer it for you. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.